Well, good morning and welcome to Coffee with the Pastor. We're looking at Genesis 1. I thought we'd begin the new year off by looking at Genesis 1. Yesterday we looked at the first verse. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Bereshit bara Elohim. Today I want to look at the second verse. After God's created the heavens and earth, now the earth was formless and empty. Darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. God had created the world, He had created earth, but it was still empty. It was really kind of nothing was there. It was formless. The word is chaotic. There wasn't any order to it. Now, yesterday, I mentioned the fact that we have problems if theologians try to become scientists and scientists try to become theologians. But one of the things I think that both theologians and scientists will agree upon is that when God comes down and sees it chaotic, He puts order to it. And there is an order to our world. He takes the chaos and He brings order from it. And there's order in our DNA, there's order in how gravitational pulls are, there's order in everything that you study about science. God comes in and orders things and He puts it in order. Today I just want to say some things. Chaos is not of God. God puts things in order. He makes them orderly. Chaos is really more of the darkness, and darkness in the Bible a lot of times talks about being wicked, evil. But God wants to bring order to our world. He wants to bring order to your world. We've lived in a very chaotic year, 2020. Oh my goodness. The pandemic, the politics, our world's really kind of gone crazy. It just really has. Our politics, our country is just divided about how things ought to proceed and things, and it becomes very chaotic. I used to call and I thought, boy, there's just no statesman anymore. Because used to, there'd be somebody who'd get up and just say, I know you agree with this and I agree with it and I have a different opinion, but for the good of the country, let's find some common ground. And I thought, there's just no statesman anymore. And I think that there are statesmen, I just think nobody wants to listen to them. And it's chaotic. But the one thing I want you to know something is that the world may be chaotic, but God brings order. And you can live for God in a chaotic world. That's going to be the message of the gospel, truthfully. I know I'm not kind of sticking to Genesis a little bit, but I just think it's a good lesson to learn that God brings order. I was watching one of the football players the other day, and his dad has helped him a lot. And his dad coaches him, even though he's a professional football player now. But one of the things that he has his son do is make his bed every day and clean his room and clean his house. He said, you can't do things well if you live in chaos. And it's important. It's important for kids to grow up with order and boundaries and all. They feel much more secure and well if they do that. We need order in our life, and that's why we talk about practicing spiritual disciplines, because the earth was formless and empty. Darkness was over the surface, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. Now, that's kind of an interesting phrase there, and it's interpreted in different ways in different Bibles. It's Rua Elohim. We talked about Elohim yesterday, being a name for God. Rua is it can be interpreted wind, it can be interpreted breath, it can be interpreted spirit. And so some interpretations has there was a great wind come over the waters, the breath of God was over the waters. Any of those would be correct. I like the NIV, which I just read. The Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. God had created the world, but he had brought order to it. But he's going to bring order to it. And we're going to talk about this order for the next couple of days, about how God orders things, how he orders creation, and how that creation is going to come together, and how he's going to order the earth. And we're going to see how he creates the earth and he brings order to it. And he's going to bring all the things in creation to it. And I'm excited to talk about that the next few days. We'll talk about the 7 days of creation, hopefully over the next 2 days. I'm going pretty slow here. I've just gotten 2 verses done in 2 days, but I'll try and speed it up a little bit, and let's try and get through the 7 days of creation in the next 2 days. But I'm hoping you're having a great day, and I'm hoping today you have a time of order. Realize how God brings order to the earth. He can bring order to your life. And maybe you need to let him bring some order and some peace among the chaos today. God's blessings upon you, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.